we recording now? Okay. But the lighting's all wrong. Wait a minute. I've got it. There we go. That's much better. Well, I have a story for you about dreams linking the past and the present and the future. About 8 years ago, I was in a long-distance relationship with a girl in Georgia. I only ever visited her twice, but we had an ongoing relationship that spanned a few years. I had a number of dreams about her. Whenever I'm in a relationship, my dreams have this awful habit of teasing me with wish fulfillment and then showing me ominous portents, but never actually telling me anything worth knowing. Most are easy to distinguish from real events. This one was a little more complicated. A quick synopsis. I'd met this girl at a technology job in Georgia. We made googly eyes at each other and so on, but nothing was official. After I had gone home, we emailed back and forth. Some projections about travel and cultural events were exchanged, and somehow that turned into us officially being boyfriend and girlfriend. She visited me up north, and I visited her down south. The relationship was okay, but it wasn't great. It just kept going downhill, and I started to get the feeling that we really weren't meant to be together. Then the dreams began. They seemed innocuous at first. I would be going about my business, and she would say something to upset me. I would get upset and remove myself from the relationship. Same story every time. I thought nothing of these dreams because they were self-evident, barely even worth remembering because they simply echoed my feelings on the subject. I already knew what was going on in my own head. I never actually broke it off, and just had a strong sense that I was willing to do that. But then it got interesting. In the back of my mind, I was aware that all this stuff was going on. But there was another thread to this at the same time. As a newly minted defensor Tiro, I was helping out a friend who complained that she was being visited by a malevolent ghost. She described the ghost as a young girl who occasionally appeared dark and scary. I haven't seen The Grudge, but that's what always came to mind for me. Now, obviously, being a defensor, I put together an efficacious amulet for her, and we hadn't heard from Ghosty in quite some time now. Good so far. Anyway, went to bed one particular night. That part was uneventful. It's when I woke up that was the problem. Have you ever known something without being told? Happens all the time. You don't need to be told something to know it's true. Well, the next time I woke up, I just knew. I knew that I had woken up years in the past. Years before the girlfriend, who I won't name, but years before I even met her. A strange feeling overtook me. What if? What if we never met? I knew we had met, in the original timeline, the one I had always known. But what about now? There were so many possibilities. So many things could happen differently. So many events had to come together at that time, in that place, for us to meet. I was beside myself. Had my wish been granted in a backhanded monkey's paw kind of way? Was this some sort of sick cosmic joke? It was daylight already, so I headed to the living room. I looked out the second-floor window overlooking our front yard. Our family liked birds, and I could always spot a few birds hopping around on the front lawn. But it wasn't a bird I saw. It was a scrawny young girl in a nightgown with long, dark hair, slightly transparent, looking up at me. Of course, that's when I woke up for real. I lay in bed for a good half hour in a cold sweat, trying to piece together what had happened as two familiar yet mysterious bird calls tried to rouse me in the early twilight. The dream felt absolutely real. I had sincerely believed that I had lost my girlfriend as a result of waking up in an alternate timeline, and that I would be forced to try to find her. Not long after, my relationship ended abruptly. So, if you want to look at it in a circuitous and convoluted way, the dream had come true. By the way, those bird calls, one I later identified as a cardinal. The other, I'm still working on.